How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to LTA 3D. Now, over the last couple of weeks, there have been a lot of new 3D printers and 3D printing products released. So this may be a long video depending on how much I go in depth, but I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible with as much information on the products as possible. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first one we're going to be looking at is the Kobra S1 Max from Anycubic. Now, I think this was released just before Formnext, and it is a 350 cubed, so 350 by 350 by 350 millimeter cubed Core XY 3D printer, essentially just a bigger version of the S1. It's currently available for a sort of pre-order deposit thing, similar to what Snapmaker did with the U1. You can spend, what is it? Is this US? Yep, 50 US now, and get $100 off with the early bird pricing. I think you've got 5 days here to do so. So 350 cubed, 65 degree active heated chamber, fully enclosed, Ace 2 Pro, 350 degree high temperature hot end. Yeah, so here we go here. There's an early bird launch time. So between November 5th and 24th, you can spend $50 on the deposit, get $100 off. From November 25th to December 1st, there's a founder's price there. And then obviously the price will then eventually go up to the final, which I believe will be $9.99 US. But yeah, so if you're looking for a decent sized Core XY 3D printer with, 4 colors upwards of 16, maybe this isn't a bad option. 350 cubed, it's a pretty decent build volume. I mean, I think standard these days, 300 cubed is pretty good for anyone looking to get into 3D printing. But yeah, 350 cubed, not too bad. Plus, I mean, if you already have an Anycubic printer or a Kobra S1, then you might enjoy a bigger one right next to it. On top of that, Anycubic also announced a Photon P1. I actually saw I think it was a tweet about this or an ad from Anycubic on Facebook about this before Formnext or anything. I know they currently have one at Formnext that they're showing off. Unfortunately, I don't make enough money to to afford a combination of flights, so I am still here in Australia. But it's a pretty interesting looking resin printer. It's dual color, but it's kind of misleading because when I saw dual color, I was like, have we actually got like a proper multicolor resin printer? I don't know how you would manage that. But no, they haven't. When they say dual color, they essentially mean you've got 2 little vats, which you can then do 2 colors at the same time. Now, I don't know if that's 2 different models at the same time or 2 of the same model, but just in different color yet. I actually haven't gone through this yet. I just saw it and I wanted to just fully dive into it live here in this video. Well, it won't be live for you guys, but it's live for me. But by the looks of this image, you can do 2 separate models. So you can have one color with one model, another color with a separate model. So if you had, a model that needed 2 separate colors for, let's say, like the top was one color, the bottom was another color, like you're printing a figurine, you could actually print them at the exact same time with one in one color, one in the other. I think. Don't quote me on it. But that's what it's looking like because these are 2 separate models here. But either way, I still think it's pretty damn cool. I think it's very cool to be able to sort of do 2 things at the same time without having to go buy a separate resin printer for it. And by the looks of it here, yeah, 2 colors, 2 materials, infinite possibilities. Features 2 printing platforms with corresponding dual resin tanks, letting you print 2 tones or materials in one go. Very cool. Very cool indeed. So I believe just like the Kobra S1 Max, this is also a deposit that you can put down for it. And I think they're having a Kickstarter launching soon. From what I read here, launching a Kickstarter very soon. So $10 deposit, save $90. If you're into resin printing, let me know your thoughts. I haven't dived into the world or dove into the world of resin printing. It's sort of like I want to, but my goal currently is to get like one of every type of just like FDM 3D printers. So I've got Delta there, which is the T1 Max, which I've got some content coming out soon. I've got Core XYs, I've got bed slingers. So I eventually want to dive into resin, but I want to get a handle on all this first, learn as much as I can about these first, and then jump in here because I do think resin is going to be the future. And I'm very interested in your comments on this resin printer in the comments down below because I want to see what everyone thinks. I personally think it's really cool as someone who hasn't done any resin printing, but for people who have, very interested in your guys' thoughts. And then finally, Anycubic also has another printer, which I saw leaked on Twitter by, is it Tuvi? The Kobra X, which looks suspiciously like a Bambu Lab A1. Now, not trying to say they took inspiration from Bambu Lab or anything, but it's a bed slinger, has 4 spools on top, and is white. Very similar to the A1. But it does look very cool. Here's some pictures from them at Formnext 2025. Currently showing it off. I believe they're calling that multi-material system like the Ace Gen 2 or something, I think. I think I saw somewhere. I don't see it mentioned here or anything, but it does look pretty cool. Obviously, it's very inspired by the A1. I would love to see it printing in person. So, Anycubic, if you're watching this and you want to send me one, hit me up. And I'm gonna throw some shade here for a little bit. All right, there's a guy in the goddamn comment section of one of my videos where I did the I think it was, maybe it was a short or maybe it was a full video where I did the A1 AMS light top mount, and he was ripping into me about putting 4 spools on top, going, if you think this is a good idea, essentially you're dumb. Well, look at that. Anycubic's gone and done it. So how do you like them apples? Clearly it's not a bad idea. But yeah, let me know your thoughts as well in the comments down below. I'm not going to keep saying that, but overall, I want to hear everyone's comments on these printers. Which one, you know, that is in this video are you most excited about? Because there's quite a few, and I know you're all here for the Prusa. So we'll get to that, but let's keep going. QIDI or QIDI, I never know the correct pronunciation, so I apologize. They've also just announced their Max 4, which is a lot bigger than I actually thought. I really thought this was going to be smaller. 1,049 US, 1599 AUD for a 390 by 390 by 340 millimeter 3D printer. I was not expecting 390. I was expecting, similar to Anycubic, to have like a 350 cubed. So I'm very impressed that they've gone to 390. Don't know why they couldn't have gone 390 cubed, but look, 390 by 390 by 340 is a very big build volume, and for 1599 AUD, I don't think it's too bad, you know. Like, if you're looking at doing big 3D prints without breaking the bank and going and buying, you know, like a Orange Storm Giga from Elegoo, I don't think it's a bad option. I think it's a really good build volume. And if you want, you can then get the QIDI box, making it 1849, and you have multicolor. So I don't think it's a bad idea. This is a pre-order currently. We'll ship within 2 months. But yeah, very, very cool printer. And I like seeing that we're getting bigger and not breaking the bank, because for that build volume, I was literally expecting way more. Like, just keep in mind, like, the price of like the H2S from Bambu Lab, which I think is around the same, is it not? I think it's around 1800, but it's only 340 by 320 by 340. And here you're getting 390 by 390 by 340. So it's a pretty good price. I ain't gonna lie. I'm very happy with how things are going right now in the 3D printing scene, where we're getting bigger, better 3D printers at affordable price points. So they've got this active cooling air control system, which is pretty cool. In combination with active chamber heating, ensures that large size PLA does not warp at the edges. Very cool. Reduce the clogging situation by 90%. Efficiency air-cooled direct blow extruders and filament. Oh, right. So it blows cold air on the extruder. That's pretty cool too. That's very cool. Very cool. I would love to get my hands on one of their printers. Honestly, I've been debating buying one for a while now to look at on the channel, because they look very solid. I've just heard a lot of mixed reviews and experiences with their machines, but who knows? You might see one in the future. I kind of told my partner I wouldn't buy any more 3D printers, but I've said that about 3 times now, and I haven't stopped. So yeah, maybe. But it looks very cool. If you're interested, obviously I'll have all these linked in in the description down below, so you can go directly have a look at them. And now on to probably, you know what? No, I'll swap the order. This I have seen a leak for as well. I think they've got it at Formnext right now. I've tried to go through their socials. I cannot find a picture of it. I didn't want to go use other people's videos without permission, so I haven't. But just like we saw the Anycubic Kobra X, Creality's back at it again. So I gave them a lot of crap about this last time for essentially making the high combo, which is essentially their version of an A1. And it looks like they've done it again. So you've now got the Ender 3 V4 combo. I really wish they would just like stop with the Ender and just go with other naming, because it gets very confusing with how many goddamn Ender 3 printers they have. I've talked to a lot of people and they go, I got an Ender 3. And I'm like, which one? And they go, I don't know. And I'm like, there's just so many. But yeah, there's not a lot of information about this. It's currently at Formnext 2025. Like I said, looks very similar to the A1, heavily inspired by the A1, similar to the Creality High. I don't actually know the difference between it because I have not seen any specs on it. But right now, if you are interested, I believe they're doing some giveaway right now where if you sign up to their mailing list and so forth, you're entered in a chance to win the Ender 3 V4. So I'll have that link below. Go sign up if you want. See if you win a printer. It would be awesome if you did. Let me know if you do, by the way, because that would be amazing if I told you to go there and you wouldn't want it. I'll be so happy for you guys. I'll probably do a follow-up video on this once information has been released, because I am very curious as to see what the differences between this and the high combo are, if there are any. But yeah, so stay tuned. And now on to probably the big one that a lot of people were interested in at Formnext, and I was sitting here waiting for the announcement of this on their website. The Bambu Lab H2C is here. Now at this point, you've probably all gone and seen review videos. I've done a lot of watching myself. I have mixed thoughts on it, but we're just going to go quickly through this because I haven't gone through this page yet. Now the big thing is you're going to save a lot of time compared to the H2D and the H2S, which is a big thing. So if you're looking at doing multicolor, multi-material, this may be the printer for you. I have also seen the price point, and I was very surprised by, in my opinion, how low it was. But I could have just been overestimating. I was expecting this to be like, in my opinion, I was expecting this to be like 4K plus Australian. I was expecting like 5K, maybe even more, because it's supposed to be, you know, a big up to 7 color 3D printer. So I was expecting a really big price tag on this, but I was pleasantly surprised when I saw it. Does not mean I'm buying one, but still pleasantly surprised. The Vortek system I think is very cool. Very, very, very cool. I do wonder how many issues you're going to have with it, like in terms of support and so forth, if something goes wrong, because I feel like there is a lot that could go wrong with this printer because there's so many moving parts now. I do think it's cool the fact that you have 6 nozzles there, and I do think it's really cool that you can actually have different nozzle diameters parked there. So you could have a 0.2mm nozzle there and a 0.6 and a 0.8 there, and have the others 0.4, and then instead of having to continuously go, you know, swap out nozzles, you can just have it already set in there, swap the nozzle diameter in the slicer and send it at a newer diameter. So I think that's very cool. I think it's going to make it a lot easier for people who swap around their diameters a lot. Obviously, it's significantly more conservative of material than the X1C. As you can see by that picture, like that speaks 1,000 words. Look at how much waste on the X1C compared to the H2C. But yeah, it's very cool here how they also have like how their software is so advanced that they can optimize what nozzles have what filament in and so forth. It's very cool. But don't be discouraged by the 7 colors. You can actually print with more if you are happy to, you know, have purged waste. You can hook up, you know, more AMSs to it and then have, you know, flushing happen. So you're not limited. Yeah, well, here we go right here. You're not limited to 7 colors. You can go up to 24, but obviously the main purpose of this is to reduce as much waste as possible and have, you know, up to 7 colors. 3,699 Australian, which I definitely was not expecting. Like I said, I was expecting upwards of 4, 5K, because I mean, when you look at the H2D, for example, well, the H2D's like 3K, wasn't it? 3,099? Yeah. So 3K, I was expecting a significant price upgrade for what it is. But for only like an extra, what, $600? I don't think it's too bad. $600 for an extra, what, 5 colors? I don't think it's outrageous. I think it's pretty cool. I personally wouldn't get one. I think for the price, you probably don't need it. The build volume also, I believe, is slightly smaller from what I've seen. It's 330 by 320 by 325. So it's smaller than, you know, the H2S. But I think the dimensions, as far as I've seen, are the exact same size. So a little bit interesting. But yeah, I don't think it would be... For people just getting to the scene, I definitely would not look at this. One, I don't think you should be spending $3,000 on the printer at all in general, unless you have a specific purpose in mind and so forth. But I think there's probably going to be a lot of issues later down the line with that Vortek system. There's also Joel, the 3D printing nerd, put out a video on it saying that he was having adhesion issues due to the heating of the build plate. So there's also that issue. But what I'm also very interested about is they did mention that this was upgradable for the H2C and H2D. So you can buy the Vortek system and upgrade it on those printers. And the price point, in my opinion, is ridiculous. So $1,300 for the H2D upgrade, $1,400 for the H2S. Now, obviously, this is AUD. I'm sorry, I'm on the AUD. I'm on the Australian website. But that's an outrageous price point for an upgrade kit. Like, that is expensive. I mean, like I said, the difference between the H2D and the H2C is $600. And you're charging an extra $1,300 to go from an H2D to a H2C, essentially. I don't know who's going to do this. I really don't. I just don't think it's worth the purchase. I think you might as well just go buy another printer. Or like, I think a lot of people may be a bit annoyed that this is the price. They may have bought an H2D specifically because they knew the Vortek was coming. And are now looking at the price going, I should have held off for an H2C. So if you're one of those people who's bought an H2D or an H2S, let me know, will you be buying this Vortek upgrade kit? Or is it like I said, it's way too expensive and you're a little peeved that you bought one? Because I'm very interested to see how the community feels about this. I think it's very similar to like Flashforge releasing the 5M and then saying we're working on multicolor, but you can't buy it for it. You got to buy the 5X. Same as like Elegoo's going, we have the Centauri Carbon. Haven't got multicolor for that yet, but you can go buy the Centauri Carbon too. It's sort of like, yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but would love to see your thoughts. And now, the big one, and probably why most of you are here, Prusa. So, obviously, they've had the Core One, and then they recently released the Core One L. But as everyone has suspected, they have a collaboration with Bondtech with the INDX, or Index, or however it's pronounced, system. So, you can now upgrade your Core One to have up to 4 colors or 8 colors, I think. I think they have 2 versions available from what I've seen. So right now you can buy the Core One or you can buy the Core One L, and then you can also upgrade to 4 colors or 8 colors on it, which is fantastic. I don't see why they couldn't go to 10 colors in the future for the Core One L, considering it is bigger, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But this is a big thing and a freaking awesome step in the right direction. I have a lot of respect for the team at Prusa for continuously like creating upgrade kits for their machines instead of doing what, like I said, everyone else is doing, which is, all right, that machine's done. Instead of upgrading that or adding cool things to it, let's just work on a whole entire new printer, which is almost the exact same as this one, but has the added multicolor. I really like to see a company like this that cares about their, you know, consumers, cares about their fan base, and actually upgrades their previous printers to give them new amazing features such as 4-color, 8-color multicolor printing. So big shout out to Prusa for that, because I think that is just amazing. And if anything, it's making me very much want to go buy a Core One to then do this, because I mean, they've always had very good quality. All I see online from everyone is that Prusa has top quality printing, and I think it's amazing. I also, just because I completely forgot, they have this new this is what I'm talking about, the USS Drybox. They have a universal storage system, a dry box for their Core One and Core One L, which will accompany the which can accompany the INDX or index system once you've got it all hooked up. So it's very cool. You can see images here. Let me just see if I can make it a bit bigger for you guys. Yeah. So obviously you can just run one inside your, I think this is the L, I'm not sure, but you can put 4 on the side, 4 on each side, and you have a fully enclosed, you know, filament spool holder, which is very cool, which a lot of other companies don't currently offer. Like I said, the 5X from Flashforge, the 85X, does not have enclosed spool holders. The Centauri Carbon, by the look of it, the Centauri Carbon 2, by the look of it, does not have enclosed spool holders. So this is pretty cool. Very cool. I believe it's going to be available within the next couple weeks, it's saying. Let me just see if it's already there. Okay. Well, oh, here we go. Here we go. $61.99. Is that for one of them? Okay. I mean, it's not too pricey, realistically. I don't think it's outrageous. If you buy 8, price gets up there a little bit, but I think it's very cool. Very cool. And I think you can go pre-order the INDX or index right now. Oh, -1 spot's available. Okay. You could have. Don't think you can now. There's a Founders Edition. And then they're also releasing a second wave, I think. I read somewhere. And then I think Prusa is also going to have it on their website coming soon. So stay tuned for that. Let me know your thoughts on it, because I think this is probably the best thing that I've seen so far from Formnex. And like I said, I'm very impressed with Prusa for doing this. I think it's amazing that you're working on upgrades for your printers. And I can't wait to see people, you know, get these and actually, you know, upgrade their printers. I would love to see how difficult it is to upgrade it. But I would love to see people setting these up and doing, you know, 8 color prints and so forth on their Core Ones. There's a lot of videos out there, I think, of this in person at it. So I'll see if I can find one and link in the description down below. You guys can go give it a watch. But thanks for watching, guys. I wanted to get like individual videos out for these, but so much got released at once, and I was like, I'm not gonna make 8 different, you know, videos on things released. I'll just do one combined video, try and keep it as short as possible, just in case you guys didn't see any of these. So let me know your thoughts in all these printers in the comments down below. Let me know which one you are most impressed with and you're most excited about. Let me know your thoughts on Prusa and the INDX or index from Bondtech, and as always, happy printing.